Welcome back to DKR. 11 minutes to go until kickoff. Fellas, it is about that time. Game day guarantees. Prediction on the outcome here. Texas entered this game as a 2-touchdown favorite. Let's start on the end over there. Manny, who you got in this game and what score?
I need my boys to rebound. I need them to. I got Texas 42-34. I think the offense will do what they continue to do. They'll play well. The defense will struggle. We know that because Iowa State's very good at manipulating. But they'll get the stop they need and they'll win the game.
Yeah, Texas, just win. Just win.
Just win.
45-30, that's my number, but just win.
Just win.
Just win.
Just win, baby.
No,
Ricky?
I changed my prediction.
No changing.
I changed it. This morning I woke up and I watched a little bit of extra film on Iowa State's offense. And I still think Texas is going to win. I think they're pissed off about last year getting shut out, pissed off about last week, and pissed off about the lack of support from the fans. So I think they're going to be upset. I got Texas 42-37.
Texas is 12-1 on LHN games. I think they're going to make it 13-1. Maybe a bit of a close one.
Stat.
Yeah,
30. We're in luck, right? 30. I just jinxed it. 34-31 Longhorns. And listen, this is an Iowa State team that has lost 3 of their 5 games by just 1 score. They have fight in them. They're progressing, but I don't think it will be quite enough. Before we send you off to the broadcast, biggest concern for the Longhorns and Longhorns fans heading into this game?
We talked about it is the motion and the different looks of Iowa State offense.
For me, it's just pride. Where's your pride at? That's my concern. Are you still feeling down about yourself? Are you still feeling down about what the media and everybody's saying? Just go out there and play football, play Texas football.
Do you know how to win? Right? Winning is a habit. Winning is something that you learn. After you start losing 1, 2, 3 games in a row, then you might forget what you learned. You have to reteach yourself how to win all over again. So does this Longhorn team remember how to win games?
How much does it help being back at home as former players? You know, from a fan's perspective, you think, great, they're back at home where they won 4 out of 5. How much does it matter to the players?
I think there's a level of comfort being home. You have your own locker, you have your own stuff, you're comfortable. But I think after losing 3 straight and coming back home, it's tough. But this year, finally, the Texas team has showed me they can play well at home and win at home. So hopefully they'll show that again.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. To me, it shouldn't matter. You should be happy every day that you have an opportunity to play football. And then you playing from the University of Texas. So me, I get excited. I'm sitting here. I'll be like, everybody asks me, VY, do you still got a eligibility to go play? Yeah, I can go out there and throw the ball around a little bit.
Go out there, sling that rock a little bit.
Don't tease the fans here. They're all watching you live. Manny, the home crowd, the concerns and everything, I know some players have talked about in the past, they like playing on the road better instead, but you think this makes a big difference being back in Austin?
What matters more is that they're playing Iowa State. I don't care if we were playing at home, if Ohio State rolled into town, or Alabama rolled into town, I don't know how much it would matter. What matters more, we're playing Iowa State. Treat them like Iowa State. Remove the mask. Remove the, they have big play potential. Let's peel back the layers and see them for who they truly are. That is lower tier in the Big 12. And let's show up and let's win this game.
Okay, well, they tried to treat them like Iowa State last year. We know what happened in Ames. They got shut out by a team that ended up firing their coach at the end of the year.
Don't remind me. We're not living in the past right now, Alex. We're not living in the past.
Rodriguez.
We shall see what happens. 7.5 minutes to go. The fans filing into DKR. By the way, on the broadcast today will be the team of Lo Galindo, Ahmad Brooks, and Keith Moreland. And then we will be back with you at halftime and, of course, post-game as well. The Texas back at home. It's a few minutes away from their first home game. About 35 days since that the Notre Dame and UTEP games seemed like eons ago, with Texas trying to regain some of that momentum before they hit the road again next week. But once again, we will see you at halftime. The Eyes of Texas coming up. Lowell, Ahmad, and Keith on the call. Enjoy the game, my friends.
It's the conference home opener for Texas football as the Horns welcome the 1-5 Iowa State Cyclones to DKR. Both teams looking for their first conference win of the season. And my, how much has changed since the last time we saw Texas here at DKR more than a month ago. You may remember how the Longhorns started off the year, the double OT win against Notre Dame, going from unranked to number 11. Then they beat UTEP and the floodgates opened as the Horns allowed 99 points combined in losses to Cal and Oklahoma State. That was the final straw as Vance Bedford was demoted from there. Charlie Strong takes over as the defensive play caller, and Oklahoma puts up 45 points and more than 600 yards of offense. The Texas staff and the players know what is on the line. The players are not just focusing on trying to salvage this season, they are fighting for their head coach, Charlie Strong. Paul Boyette at the center of the line for the Texas Longhorns as they are about to make their return to DKR for the first time in 35 days. And here come the Horns. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. I'm Mo Galindo, here with a couple of guys that played for DBU in that defensive backfield, Ahmad Brooks and Keith Moreland. Guys, we know the current situation, the current climate of this Texas program. You look at the seats, a lot of empty seats. You look at the record, 3 too many losses. And just talking to Charlie Strong yesterday, he even shared a story on how his players have told him, if something happens to you, we will not be able to find a coach that cares for us the same way. They know what's at stake here.
Yeah, but the fans care about winning and losing. And right now, with a 13-17 record, it's really hard for fans to buy into the progress. But yeah, I will say this, what has been great is this offense. This offense has been managing to put up 40 points a game, which should be enough to win games. But the defense hasn't been able to shut the door when they get inside of the red zone or prevent itself from the big plays. That's been the difference in this season.
We found out the identity of this offense. You can all say that. They're scoring 41 points a game, but the identity of this defense has not showed up in the last 2 years.
Let's catch up with the head coach, Charlie Strong. He's standing by with Dawn Davenport.
Well, thank you, Lo. Coach, how have you kept your players focused on this matchup with all of the outside noise that comes with a 3-game losing streak?
Well, it's week by week, and we know this, that we make it a one-game season. And we know that Iowa State is what's important to us right now, and we can't worry about what's happening on the outside. We can only take care of our business now.
This Iowa State offense is averaging almost 40 points a game the last 3 weeks. What does your defense have to do to stop that?
Well, it's going to be a challenge for us. You know, what's key is their quarterback. You know, he's a dual threat where he can run the ball and throw it. So we're going to have to play really good on defense and not give up the big play.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Lo?
So let's get into this Texas defense, because flat out, you asked Charlie about his play calling a day ago, and what did he say? It's not enough because we didn't win the game. But 672 yards against Oklahoma, 5th most allowed in a single game.
Yeah, but not all this is the coach's fault, because when you watch film, you see poor technique and poor tackling, and those are the 2 things that have stood out. Right here, prime example of that, rudimentary cover 2. The outside corner is supposed to force the wide receiver inside. Not only did he miss that, but he turned the opposite way. Watch this, going back to Oklahoma State. Now, I want you to watch the amount of tackles and the angles here. One guy misses. The second guy, also behind, misses with another arm tackle for him to run through. And finally, a 3rd tackle on the exact same play. 3 poor angles and 3 poor tackles. But watch it here. They have done it right before. Yeah. Going back to last week versus Oklahoma, 2 tackle for losses that were missed, but who's right there? Malik Jefferson to clean up the tackle. That's what you've got to do. You've got to play team defense and be strong with your fundamentals in order to correct the mistakes that they have right now.
But despite this 3-game losing streak, they've had an opportunity to win all 3 of those games because of the offense. Sterling Gilbert has come to Austin and added 15 points per game to their scoring output from a year ago. What's the next step, though?
Well, the next step is consistency. There's no question about it when you look at this offense. They've got outstanding production from a young man that has 6 consecutive 100-yard rushing games in Foreman, and he's done a nice job. And then you have the big package with the 18-wheeler package that's got the job. And then the young freshman has really done a nice job of getting vertical down the field for Shane Buechele. This offense, though, the problem has been they have had quarters and halves where they haven't scored. They've got to score consistently. They are not as good offensively as they could be when they get down the line. You say that, but they're scoring 41 points a game.
Yeah, wow.
2 years ago, Sterling Gilbert was the offensive coordinator at Bowling Green. He went up against Matt Campbell in Toledo. Toledo won that game. Campbell arrives here, 36 years of age, the youngest head coach in the Power 5. It's a 1-5 record, but even Coach Strong said that is very deceiving.
Well, when I look at the product, this is the best Iowa State team that I have seen in 10 years of covering the Big 12. They've got an array of offensive talent, and their defense certainly hustles and plays fundamentally sound.
Well, they get to the football. That's the thing that impresses me a lot, is the fact is they fly to the football. From the guys up front, they're a little bit undersized, but they're very aggressive defensively.
Texas won the toss, deferred to the second half. Iowa State set to receive. And Kene Nwangu takes a knee for the touchback. Joel Lanning will take over for the Iowa State offense. You'll remember him, Texas fans. Right now, you need to know this name because over the last 3 games, 65%, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Only quarterback in the Big 12 to not throw an interception in that stretch. And of course, this is why you remember him. Made his first career start last season against Texas. Cyclones won that game 24-0. Yet since that game, Iowa State has lost 8 straight against bowl subdivision teams. Landing to Lazard for an opening reception, and that's a combination we're going to see a lot with Alan Lazard. Big target for Iowa State.
And I also agree, too, you know, when you look at Lanning on film, he's got outstanding mobility, Keith, and they like to get him on the move to throw exactly like you saw in that first play.
Another short pass, that one ruled incomplete, intended for Dondre Daly. Who are the players we need to focus on here?
Yeah, Mike Warren, the tailback number 2, one of the best running backs in all of the Big 12. And on the outside, Alan Lazard plays the X position, but you'll see him sometimes lined up in the slot. And defensively, Brecken Hager has to wreck shop today, and Malik Jefferson has to find a way to be the playmaker that we know he is.
3rd and 4. Pressure coming. And that is a first down to Alan Lazard.
Second time they've run that play already to your right. That time there, lined up on the left hash. As I said earlier, outstanding mobility from number 7, Joel Lanning. And also, when you run right into the teeth of that, it gives him an opportunity to see the blitz, and it prevents the backside rush from being able to track him down.
Charles Omenihu applied the pressure. Could not get the task done. Mike Warren with his first carry of the game. And it is Omenihu making the tackle and attempt number 2.
Interesting the style that the Cyclones have come out with, Ahmad. They're attacking, and they're attacking the right side of the offense.
Back-to-back carries for Warren, and Nashawn Hughes is there for the tackle.
Nice job up front. To play good defense, folks, you got to play good defense on first down. You've got to put teams in 2nd and 3rd and long. Now you have an opportunity. This is 3rd and very manageable, though.
In the big hit, broken up by Chris Boyd. And that's going to fire up the Texas defense.
I just love this kid's energy. You know, sometimes his thing is he has so much energy, sometimes you got to put a top on it. And I think for Chris Boyd, this was excellent play recognition. He released to come pick up that route in the flat before the ball was even thrown. excellent job with his eyes, being able to see through the play to make that happen. And this Texas defense, I'll say, you mentioned the pace. They were not set on defense during that snap. They've got to do a better job of getting the play call in and being set so they do not disrupt their alignment in assignment football.
Colin Dowling to punt for the Cyclones. And that will bounce between Ja'Cory Warwick and Armonte Foreman. And Texas will take over at the 21. Time to turn it over to the true freshman, Shane Buechele. Move over Bobby Lane. Buechele now has a single season record for more passing yards and touchdowns by true freshmen. 3 passing touchdowns last week, tied for the most by a Texas quarterback against Oklahoma. And he is the man that really brings the electricity alongside his running mate in the backfield, D'Onta Foreman, to this Texas offense. Shane Buechele has been electric, especially at home. 72%, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick in his 2 games at DKR. No surprise, first carry to D'Onta Foreman, and it's positive yards.
This young man is just a rare combination of speed, size, and power, and has really taken the nation by storm. But if you've been following this program, you really saw him starting to amp his game up and with confidence as he got more reps.
Buechele with time, looking to money, and Armonte Foreman with the reception to move the chains.
That's the growth of a young quarterback right there. His initial target was taken away from him. He came to a secondary target. That was his 4th choice. Gets the first down.
And great protection there from the offensive line to buy him time.
Buechele with the keeper. You guys talked to him about this yesterday. You told him to slide. He said, yeah, we need to work on that a little bit.
I told him slide. Got to get down, young man.
Kamari Cotton Moya, one of the standouts for the Iowa State defense there to make that stop. But a big gain on first down, setting up a 2nd and 2. D'Onta bouncing. He will not go down without a huge contest. Jamal Wilkes struggling to get that done.
Texas impact players. And you look at it, we're going quickly here, right back to the line of scrimmage. This is what you call hurry up. Lightning.
There is Dorian Leonard making the quick reception.
There's no question that Foreman, and I look at Colin Johnson as another one from the outside. And when you look at Moya and Harvey, they have to make plays for Iowa State defensively.
And there is a heck of a play from DeAndre Payne coming up to make the stop in the open field against D'Onta Foreman.
And it also shows you some of the things that Gerard Hurd is learning to do, which is block at the wide receiver position. That time there, he had his hands full and couldn't quite shield him enough to allow D'Onta to hit the sideline.
Tristan Nicholson starting at right tackle, as Brandon Hodges was a late scratch. Damon Tucker with the stop. And there you see Tristan Nicholson, big old 75. 6'9", 322 pounds. Was actually the leader in camp to start the season at right tackle, had an ankle injury, and Hodges took advantage. Jake Oliver, and you see the flag here. I think Oliver pushed off to get a little bit of that separation.
Pass interference, number 6, offense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Now, Lo, I don't know why there's not more laundry on that. You know, that's a DB talking. The pushing and the tugging and all that, Keith, as you know, that happens on every play. And if you're a really smart football player on the edges, whether you're a wide receiver or a cornerback, keep that push down low. Watch how he extends here. Anytime that arm is up high, right there, it makes it very easy for the official to make that call.
Two-handed, too. If you use one hand, it doesn't get called near as often.
I agree.
And that is a damaging penalty, setting up a 2nd and 24. Kyle Porter. Now in the backfield, Buechele tries to shake Payne. And a short gain on the play. It's going to set up a 3rd and forever. Defensive coordinators licking their chops for a situation like this. And Armonte Foreman tries to toe the line, but Jamal Wiltz is there to force him out of bounds. We're going to 4th down.
Well, the penalty stopped the drive. There was no question. Excellent opening drive. Ahmad doing the things that you want to do, using the running game and the passing game, but you can't overcome a 15-yard penalty.
That's a drive killer.
Michael Dixon back to punt. Almost gets that touch. Well, that will be a touchback. Opening drive was starting to cruise for the Texas offense, but because of that offensive pass interference, it stalls when we return. Cyclones ball.
Football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Coors Light. When it comes to ice-cold Coors Light, 21 means 21. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Oh, that is football weather right there. And that's how you take in a football game, Ahmad
Weather?
Brooks.
What are you talking about weather, man?
Gotta get the grill going.
That was good sausage.
And that's what I'm talking
Can't go
about.
wrong here with the jingle.
You gotta have the good weather to get the good grill going. Back here at DKR, both Iowa State and Texas came up empty in their opening drive. Mike Warren and Joel Lanning in the backfield for this Iowa State team. And big hit from Anthony Wheeler. And they're thudding the pads out there, guys.
That was great play recognition there by Wheeler. Did a great job, ball coming right in his face, and the defensive line managed to keep the blockers off of him and get to the second level. He found the football, brought the wood.
13 tackles in the loss against Oklahoma a week ago. Speed option. Come back from Warren. And it's a first down for the Cyclones offense.
There are certain times defensively, Ahmad, where you got to give some credit to the offense. That was a well-run play. This is how the option works perfectly. Get a good block downfield. As Locke gets sort of pushed from the inside, Warren makes a nice run, cuts it back upfield. Sometimes offense is going to be good. It's not what the defense does.
Great decision there by Lanning. You're absolutely right.
378 yards for Warren over the past 4 games in that stretch. Deontay Foreman, the only Big 12 running back with more. And Malik stepping up with the hit. And guys, this is an Iowa State offense that's really starting to churn out the production. 117 points over the previous 3 games. Best stretch for them since 2005. And you counter that with the Texas defense that allowed its most points in 3 straight games since 2012. So 2 units trending in opposite directions. Quick pass to Deshante Jones. Anthony Wheeler there for the tackle.
Ahmad, when you're outside and you see the bubble as a defensive back, it's a play that has come in the last 10 or 12 years. There's so many different ideas you have in your mind to try to defend it. We're going to get to that as the night goes on.
Indeed.
3rd and 2. Texas defense allowed Oklahoma to go 8 of 14 on 3rd down a week ago. Lanning checking on the line. Lanning with the keep, and it's going to be close.
The official from the far side comes in motioning first down. They're not even going to measure. He's been awarded the first down. There is a player down for the Cyclones.
Excellent job there by Charles Amenahu, which forced that play right back into the action. He did a nice job of keeping contained. And that's one thing you don't want to do with Lanning. Once he starts to get to work, and good to see Ryan up and
that's big,
walking off the field. Ryan, one of the top wide receivers for this football team, but in order to contain that play, you've got to make sure you force it back in, which makes it a lot easier for those guys to be able to pursue the football.
His left shoulder was down and forced it back to the inside.
Absolutely.
Can't get kicked out on it.
And that is a big story with Trevor Ryan limping off. Also had an ankle issue last week, which ended his game early against Oklahoma State. Not much to do for Warren. Paul Boyette is there for the stuff.
Win first down. That's a nice job right there for Texas defense. Boy, watch the play action here, though, on second down. Try to get one of these defensive backs to bite and get vertical.
And Iowa State had the receivers to do so. Breck Hager, shoestring tackle before Lanning can escape into the open field, and that saved a huge game.
Listen, I'm not sure if there's anybody in the Big 12 that plays with this young man's energy. That was a great spin move on the backside there. He kept contained and made the play.
Quick snap on third down for Iowa State. And coming back to the ball is Lazard. Moving the chains until John Bonney can bring him down at the 20-yard line. And they went quick there. Caught Texas by surprise.
As Charlie said yesterday, they're going to heat up the pocket on third and long distances. And that time there, they had a 5-man pressure on. Guys in the back end were kind of slow to get to their assignment. And Iowa State converted.
Tackle for loss is Puna Ford breaking into the backfield.
Well, guys, I think this is huge in this ball game. Who scores first will give you some numbers that are pretty incredible when you're looking at Texas.
And this is where Iowa State is at their best, as this drive started off in the red zone. They've scored on every red zone possession this season. One of 4 bowl subdivision teams to claim that.
A nice job in the middle. It's going to make it a third down opportunity, but that's how important it is.
Wow.
Teams that score first against, or when Texas scores first, they're 12-4. When the opponent scores first, they're 1-13.
And the only win,
Coach Strong's era.
Notre Dame in the season opener.
Iowa State outstanding in the red zone. Can Texas stop them here? Look for them to bring the blitz.
And the pressure hits home. A couple of freshmen. Jeffrey McCulloch and Malcolm Roach on the play.
Great down the field coverage. We'll see it here. This is a coverage sack. Even there, it looked like a little pass interference, but he was there enough. And I tell you what, the pursuit from the defensive line there was outstanding. The persistence. 5-man pressure, you figured they'd do that on third and long. And this red zone, this team for Iowa State is 100% in scoring in the red zone.
And Cole Netton extending his school record streak. It's now 14 straight field goal makes for the man wearing number 1 on his jersey. The Cyclones strike first.
What's it like to be in good hands? Man, it's like pure power at your fingertips. Like the power to earn All-State reward points every time I drive. Want my number? And cash back for driving safe. And the power to automatically find your car. I see you, car. And I got the power to know who's coming and when if I break down. You must be Jerry. Hey, N means getting more from your car insurance with the all-powerful DriveWise app.
It's good to be in good hands.
Time for your backstage pass into tonight's game. This is what happened before the game. Silver Spurs and the Texas Cowboys presenting, per tradition, Matt Campbell, the hat and the Spurs on his first visit to Austin, Texas. What will be done with the hat and Spurs?
Oh, they're too nice. That will guarantee they will end up somewhere in his office. But you talk about a young star, guys. In my opinion, this is one of the young stars
in college football.
36 years old, youngest head coach among the Power 5. Played D3 football at Mount Union, a powerhouse. Started off as a tight end at Pitt, transferred after 1 year. His playing career as a defensive lineman for Mount Union, 54-1.
Wow.
The guy knows how to win. He did that at Toledo. And when the job came open, after Iowa State dismissed Paul Rhodes, it was a simple choice. Foreman takes a knee. And with Campbell, it was something I've never seen before. Over by our Texas game day set, he was there a couple hours before the start of the game, and he walked around. He looked at the statue of Coach Royal. He looked at the entrance to the Texas football offices, and he stood over in a perch there, the southeast corner of the end zone, and just stood there for about 30 good minutes, taking it all in.
The thing I love the most about Matt Campbell is the premium he places on people. Yeah. And he really has told everybody within this program, it is about the people. We've got to build and foster relationships, and he's been able to do that. You know, he's still young enough to relate to these young men, but still old enough to be able to demand excellence from them.
The stress is trust the process. The process to bring down D'Onta Foreman is typically a long and challenging one.
No doubt.
Brian Mills up to the task there, but not after a 4-yard gain on first down. Look at the vision and the patience from Foreman. The power to set up the 3rd and short. Damon Tucker finally bringing him down. And this is what he did against Oklahoma last week. He churned out the yards. Nothing sexy and splashy, just all positive all the time. And the ball is loose. Iowa State has come up with the football as D'Onta Foreman coughs it up. And Willie Harvey is the man in the middle of all the action.
If there is a negative about his game, sometimes when you work so hard to get extra yardage, you lose the ability to be able to protect the football. And you'll see it here. He's working so hard to pick up this 3rd and short, but sometimes you forget about the football. And if I am a defender tackling D'Onta Foreman or a coach, I'm telling my players to do that.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by Iowa State after the play was over. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 42, Texas. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, that's a big one on Caleb Blewett. And what do we hear all the time in coaching? Don't turn one mistake into 2.
Keep your composure. See at the end of this, watch. Ahmad, you're right. He gets stopped. He's almost short of the first down, and right there just strips it away, gets in it, gets his hand on it. We talked about being able to do that defensively, and they got a big turnover, and then the penalty on top of it.
Yeah, fantastic football play there from Willie Harvey, young man from Hastings, Florida.
He can play.
He's probably their top linebacker, very athletic guy.
Will the turnover lead to points? Landing with the keep, Amenahu continues a strong start.
And with these high-powered offenses nowadays, you've got to be able to hold teams to field goals down here in the red zone.
Yeah.
And you saw Texas was able to do that on the drive, the previous drive. Can they do it here? Because if they can, you're looking at about an 8-point swing with an opportunity. If your offense can go back down and score the rock with an extra point, you're winning. And so I think if you're Texas defense right now, you've got to bow your back, win your one-on-one matchups, and make some plays in the red zone.
David Montgomery sliding through the Texas defense. And he's inside the 10. David Montgomery got small in a hurry.
Just overrunning, over pursuing, and a nice cutback. Gets the first down.
13 yards on the pickup. Back to Montgomery. The Cyclones 4 yards away from pay dirt.
Well, they're going in a hurry right here. Quarterback draw in this situation, we've seen a lot.
There it is.
Good call, Keith Moreland.
This is a big third down here as Iowa State goes to substitution. Texas not substituting here. Iowa State bringing on some fresh wide receivers. And here, if you're in the secondary, you know you're going to probably be left on an island. This is going to be one-on-one, mano-a-mano. Somebody has to make a play here.
Alan Lazard has been the most frequent red zone target. Number 5 on the outside, and there is motion.
False start, number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Brian Shetta, the guilty party. Well, on the previous drive, we told you how Iowa State was perfect in the red zone and scoring opportunities, but also not just getting field goals. 19 trips, 14 of them touchdowns for the Cyclones team. Dondre Daly in motion. Over the middle. Fumble. And Malcolm Roach is on the football.
Well, they're going to call it incomplete. He never controlled the football. So it's going to lead to a field goal, but the defense, sudden change defense for Texas was very good right there to force the field goal attempt.
Let's see. Chris Boyd thought he had forced a fumble, but that's a good call.
It appears as though they got this one right.
Yeah.
Great effort here from Chris Boyd. If he doesn't give that second effort, he'd have been able to walk right into the end zone because the middle of the field was wide open.
And netting is pure. That's now 15 straight, but Chris Boyd has made 2 big pass breakups to help the cause for the Texas D. It's still 6-0 Iowa State. Well, consider that Iowa State field goal win for the Texas defense after Deontay Foreman fumbles at the 34. They hold the Cyclones to only 3. Let's check in with Don Davenport.
Well, little Deontay Foreman pretty frustrated with himself over here after that fumble. He came to the bench, slammed his fist on the bench a couple of times, and told himself to hold on to the football.
That's all part of the maturation process with Deontay Foreman. He has turned himself into not only the physical leader of this team, the vocal leader of this team as well. He's not afraid to call out teammates, not afraid to call himself out either. And his twin brother Amonte with the return, upended inside the 20-yard line. And Deontay Foreman, man loves to run with the football. Not fun to get in front of him, though. 148.8 rushing yards per game. Only Donnell Pumphrey at San Diego State is averaging more per game. 6 straight for 100 yards. I mean, you're talking now tied with Pumphrey and Leonard Fournette on top of that board. You're doing work. He's gone from a guy we believed in from seeing him practice to a guy emerging on the national level as one of the best in America.
Yeah, you see it there, almost 7 yards a pop. I mean, that's big-time football. You know, those are the types of numbers that you need to play at the next level, and those are the names he's chasing, you know, and I think the next step is to embrace that greatness and to keep doing work.
Play action, Dorian Leonard. First down and more.
Get into their hurry-up. They want to get right back to the line of scrimmage. Here they come.
First downs equal fast. That's what Sterling Gilbert likes to say. And after the 16-yard gain, a short one from Deontay Foreman as Brian Mills is there to make the stop for Iowa State. And Smokey fires as we have reached the end of the first quarter. Nothing on the board for the Texas offense. However, it's the Cyclones special teams putting up the points for the Cyclones. It's 6-0 after one. Not a good spot to be in for Texas, though, when you consider the history under Charlie Strong. Second quarter coming up as the hits are popping here at Longhorn Network. The South Congress Avenue Bridge. You can go see the bats there. My best bat story. Went one time. I'm walking down to see the bats, and Les Miles is walking away from it with the most disgusted look on his face. And it's like, what? It's Les Miles? And he's disgusted at the South Congress bats?
His daughter, I believe, attends school here.
Yep.
And I believe that was the reason he's in town.
Smacker.
Yeah, I've never really figured out why that was an Austin attraction.
Come on, man. It's classic. What are you talking about? Logan Lindo here with Ahmad Brooks and Keith Moreland. As we are underway here in the second quarter, and that's one of the first times I've seen Deontay Foreman go backwards that much on first contact, as Willie Harvey is there.
They really have shut down the running game for the most part here early in the game. Now you got a 3rd and long.
And Texas fans do not like seeing a 0 on the board against Iowa State. That could help the cause. First down to Dorian Leonard. You'll recall, even though you probably don't want to, the last matchup, the 24-0 rock bottom affair, won by the Cyclones in Ames. And we've got laundry after that first down pickup from Dorian Leonard.
False start, number 8, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
A little too fast.
Not any rhythm to this point offensively. They just haven't been able to get into the flow of the offense where they can get going fast, get everybody settled, and it's all about yardage on first down.
Only 87 total yards here into the first couple plays of the second quarter. Bouchel looking for Leonard. He's got a man beat. And one of the rare deep balls that does not hit its mark from Shane Bouchel.
Yeah, and on that particular play, he just didn't look like his feet and his arm were in sync. It looked like maybe he was even thinking about throwing the comeback. I believe Leonard had an option route where he can either sink it down in coverage if they're high or blow by them. And it looked like Leonard made a decision once he got on the DB's toes to go ahead and fly, and it looked like it caught Bouchel off guard.
Deontay, room to the right side. Big collision there as Brian Peavy put on the hit. Brian Mills combining with him to make that tackle. And it's going to be a 3rd and long. Texas substituting. So the snap stopped to let Iowa State match it. Check with me for the Texas offense. Foreman going to be shy of the first down. 4-down territory right here, boys?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're going to punt the football away.
Well, and you know, the reason why I say I think so is because typically in between the 40s is when you want to run a fake. And if I'm Coach Strong, the reason why I may be hesitant there is because your offense has been stagnant and they haven't been able to sustain drives.
I would not be surprised about a fake right here, though.
Fair enough.
We've seen one from Dixon so far this year, and it worked against Oklahoma State. And the first 2 punts from Dixon ending up in the end zone for touchbacks. Texas offense still with the 0 on the board. Not a good thing when you're playing Iowa State.
Defensive back play has been a struggle for this Texas defense, but Chris Boyd today trying to make it right after a week ago losing his eyes against Oklahoma, coming back on 2 big major 3rd downs and making individual plays. That's the type of effort, guys, you need if this defense is going to improve and show that they can play with some of these great offenses in the Big 12.
New quarterback for Iowa State as Jacob Park enters the game And of all the quarterbacks playing in this game for both teams, Park was the highest rated in the recruiting rankings out of high school. And that's why. Sharp throw there to Alan Lazar.
Yeah, he's the better thrower of the two quarterbacks. And speaking to the coaching staff, Matt Campbell, also Manning, the offensive coordinator, were very adamant about him having the right demeanor to be able to be a quarterback. And that time there, he certainly shows he's got the arm to do it.
Breckenhager bringing down Mike Warren. Park started his career at Georgia. Was an ESPN 300 commit. Left the program after the OC Mike Bobo left. Transferred out, didn't play JUCO football. Went to JUCO though. And he played in a church flag football league. And he could make plays like that. Park was running for his life there and almost had Carson Epps for the long game.
Got to wrap up. Get to the outside. Have a chance. Jefferson has a shot at him right here. He takes a big blow as he delivers his football. This is almost an outstanding play, but just to get out to make it 2nd and 10, it was a good play.
How many times have we seen that from Malik?
We don't. Yeah, we don't. That's a play he'll want back for sure.
Quick pass to Daly. And those burnt orange jerseys there in a hurry. Kevin Vaccaro making the stop. You know, one thing that Coach Strong will be happy about with this defense here is he's making Iowa State earn it. Churn out those yards, grind it out. That's what they said. Let them grind it out. Do not give up the big play. Here's one, 3rd and 7. And Park goes down. Chris Nelson with the sack.
Keith, that's not something we've seen a lot of from this Texas defense. Only a 4-man rush. Look at that. A twist on the inside, which ultimately led to Nelson cleaning up this play, but it was the coverage downfield. Park had nowhere to throw. But anytime you can get pressure off a 4-man rush, you're in business. That time, Texas getting off of the field with simplicity.
Yeah, Tampa 2 defense that time, too.
Indeed.
They were playing zone on the backside.
Bryce Cottrell also off the edge, one of the better pass rushers on this team. Haven't seen him much lately, but he was there combining for the sack with Nelson. Line drive punt, and that's going to bounce out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. But the Texas defense is doing its job.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Kissing Tree in San Marcos, Texas, a distinctly Texan 55-plus community.
So the Texas offense, they've had their miscues that have really set them back. Part of the reason why there's no score on the board for the guys in the burnt orange. Opening drive, we saw him get in a good position. Jake Oliver called for an offensive pass interference that sets him back. Next drive, Deontay Foreman coughs up the ball. And we saw Dorian Leonard right after making that first down catch on the last drive, flagged for a false start, and that set them back. Texas still trying to get it going in the right direction here offensively. First down grab by Petey Warwick.
And I think that's the way to do it. Quick passing game and get this running back involved.
Only the 3rd receiver with a catch for Texas so far. Kyle Porter, your running back. Quick passes. Nigel Tribune is there to make the stop.
Have done a great job the entire ballgame. They fly to the football. This is a young team that, you know, doesn't have a lot of big names defensively. You haven't heard a lot of these guys, but they just all fly to the football. Gang tackling everywhere.
And they also are playing soft coverage on the back end, keeping things in front of them and making open field tackles. That's what good defenses do, making and forcing the offense to earn their keep.
3rd and 3. Porter to the left side. And they're going to give him the first down.
Good second effort as a running back. Spins out of it, gets the first down. Now Texas wants to go in a hurry.
Buechele taking a shot. Warren did not see it initially. And there's contact there. Jamal Wiltz, I believe, will draw the flag for PI. Iowa State celebrating, though. This could be the second offensive pass interference against Texas.
Pass interference, number 11. Offense. Half a distance to the goal. Still first down.
Two of the worst deep balls that I've seen Shane Buechele throw today. This is one of them. This ball wasn't thrown on time, and it didn't have the velocity that he wanted. And if I'm an official here, I let the guys play. They're both fighting for position. I'm not so sure, Keith, I agree with this call.
I totally agree. I think both guys are trying to go back for the football. I think it's a no-call, incomplete pass is the call.
And Tyrone Swoops now into the game. Buechele stays in as well, so perhaps here is the new wrinkle that you were looking for from the 18-wheeler formation. Swoops the keep, and Kane Seeley the stop.
And last week, the 18-wheeler package, an injured man on the field.
And that is the true freshman center, Zach Shackelford. He's had issues with his ankles.
One thing he hasn't had issues with is adjusting to college football, Keith. This young man has been solid right in the middle of the field.
We'll take a break. When we return, more on Shaq.
Put your eyes upon Texas. Hook 'em.
That's a tough sight for Texas eyes right there. Zach Shackelford, only a true freshman, but he's one of the most vital pieces of this Texas offense.
Keep your eye right there to center Zach Shackelford as he gets rolled up on. Yikes. He has been one of the better players inserted into this starting lineup. The freshman did an excellent job of winning his job over in the spring.
Jed McMillan now the starting center. Excuse me, the center coming off the bench. As that one was behind Dorian Leonard. Dangerous, potentially going the other way.
He took too long on the fake.
Yes, he did. He stayed in the fake too long.
Yeah.
The receiver was open early,
Indeed.
and then he had to throw it behind the receiver because if he leads him to the inside, the ball's picked off.
One of the best things I heard Vince Young say was, when you know you want to make that throw, you got to cut that fake a little bit short.
Playing it safe. Swing pass to Kyle Porter. Breaks one tackle, but oh my goodness, Damon Tucker put some hurting on him after Kane Seeley held him up. And what is happening with this Texas offense? Because especially the first half, they've been rolling. Typically.
For me, it's the fact that what they're playing against. Ahmad told us at the beginning of the ballgame, he's seen Iowa State before. It's the first time for me in person to see him. But right now, they're flying to the football. On tape, this showed up, but they do fly to the football.
Yeah, and that last individual effort by Damon Tucker, he's one of the better nose guards in all of the Big 12.
Lazard back to field the punt. And on the second effort, it is Vaccaro. Didn't get him the first time, but got him the second.
That's a great special teams play there, because Lazard did have some grass and some blockers. Looked like they were trying to line up.
Well, let's go backstage into the preparation for this game. Not just for the Texas football program, but those guys and gals, the Texas Alumni Band and the Show Band of the Southwest. We'll see them perform at half. This was earlier today inside the Texas practice boat.
I know the alumni have already done that, and you are successful. You're great representatives of this university, and you do what we do at the university, which is go out and change the world.
So University President Greg Finvis giving a little pep talk to the Show Band as Mike Warren trod bulldozed Deshaun Elliott. Elliott's able to hang on. Warren really hasn't broken the big one this year. Is long, only 20 yards so far this season. Warren gonna have enough for the first down as Nashawn Hughes makes the stop. We saw the show band of the Southwest. You can catch them during our halftime show over on ESPN3. Performance live between the show band and the Texas Alumni Band. So, Ahmad, we talked about Jacob Park coming into the game on the previous drive, and initially it looked like they lost some of that momentum.
Yeah, one of the most difficult decisions when you have a two-quarterback system is to know when. And we spoke to both offensive coordinators this week, and they said it's a feel thing. You just kind of got to go with your gut, and they've gone with 2 consecutive drives here with Jacob Park.
Off the edge, Nashawn Hughes. And down goes Jacob Park. Who would have thunk Iowa State and Texas to be a defensive showdown?
And they're getting this rush, folks, with 4. And they've done all night. Neither one of these Cyclone quarterbacks have had a lot of time to get the ball down the field. They tried to get vertical, just no time to get the ball down the field.
Third sack by the Texas defense. And you know, they're probably pinning their ears back again. Chris Boyd, another big hit. As the sophomore from Gilmore is playing with a little mojo.
Another big third down play out of the secondary from Chris Boyd, and mentioned it earlier about his energy, and it's infectious. When you've got guys that are playing like their hair's on fire like Chris Boyd, listen, it goes throughout the entire team, and you've seen him here today come back. He's playing with great energy in front of the home crowd.
Still waiting for that moment in this game to break it open for either side. Dowling boots it. Foreman has room. Plows over a tackler to the 40-yard line as Texas will have fantastic field position. My guys over there on the set for Texas Game Day. Coming up at the half, Alex Loeb, Vince Young, Ricky Williams, Manny Acho. After the game, Texas Game Day final. Used to be Ahmad Brooks. Hey, what's up, BY? My guy. Hey, do you miss Ahmad? Do you miss Ahmad on set? Oh, he does. He does. Oh, that's a step in the right direction. Hey, you know what we miss? We miss the boom. Brooks' boom. Oh, boy. Deontay Foreman with the carry. And Sterling Gilbert trying to dial up right play calls as Texas only has 54 yards over the last 3 drives. On the button to Dorian Leonard. And a flag on the play. Bouchel put that one on a rope.
Perkins' helmet came off. See what happens here.
An eligible man downfield, number 75, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Wow. Tristan Nicholson there, and one of the difficult things about doing the run-pass options, right, is not knowing if you're an offensive lineman and you've got 2 different play calls that can happen during the course of the play. You don't know. And sometimes you just get so busy to working and trying to get to the next level and you don't realize it's a pass. But I will say this, Shane Bouchel got that thing out of his hand extremely quickly. One of the best things about his game is his ability to get that quick release.
But the penalties have been atrocious. From 2 offensive pass interference calls to the false start on Dorian Leonard after he got the first down, to this one, illegal man downfield. Every time Texas tries to go forward, it's like they're finding a way to go back.
Yeah, 2 steps forward, 4 back.
Third down, Texas 2 for 6 on third down tonight. Receivers stacked on both sides. Buechele flush. He's just going to let this one fly. And Brian Mills with the pressure.
I mean, you've got to give Iowa State's defense credit. I know we've talked about it, but the way they're playing here tonight against a Texas offense that really had some momentum coming into this ball game, they were clicking, especially early on in the ball game. Now, as we talked about, they were struggling in the second half, but this Iowa State defense has come out. They've tackled well. They've been fundamentally sound key, and I think that's why you're seeing this Texas team with this big 0 on the board.
Yeah, that and the penalties have disrupted the rhythm. Every time you get something forward, you're going backwards.
First 3 and out for the Texas offense tonight. Guys, we're talking about a Cyclones defense tied at 101 nationally in scoring defense. The freshman, another spectacular play from Brandon Jones on special teams, but we've got flags.
I really have enjoyed watching Jones over the last several weeks play on special teams. Plays with great energy, and he seems like he's earning more reps defensively with that type of effort.
Last time on Longhorn Network, saw him with a blocked punt against UTEP. Almost had back-to-back blocked punts in that game. Was able to follow that up and get one against Cal as well.
During the return, holding, number 24, return team. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So that one goes against Iowa State.
It's a big defensive series here, Lowell, but just because of the fact is you're going to have them back now. They're going to be inside the 10-yard line. Your defense has played well. They've got to have some momentum. They've got some energy, some confidence. They can get it done now. If they can get a stop or a turnover right here and give their offense a short field.
Bryce Cottrell, number 91, out there. We've seen him a lot more than we have recently. Probably their best pass rusher. And Brecken Hager already has a big play. He saved a long game on a Joel Lanning scramble. Third straight possession. It's Jacob Park at quarterback. And there's the kind of tackling you want from the DBs. Is John Bonney coming up strong against Hakeem Butler.
Not just the tackle, excellent technique also from Deshaun Elliott, forcing him right back out to his corner. Did a nice job of beating the block, which put John Bonney in the lane to be able to come up and make that play.
Only 3.2 yards per play for the Iowa State offense. The go-to guy, Lazard. A couple yards shy of that first down. Big third down coming up right here, right now.
And Iowa State likes to give this trips to the boundary, especially in running situations.
Hager had the initial contact, but on the second effort, David Montgomery is able to scramble for extra yards, and he moves the chains. Yeah, wrap up, Keith.
You got to get, you get contact. You just got to find a way to wrap up right there. Boy, that may take it all the way to the half. The offense would have had good field position, good time on the clock.
Montgomery motions back into the backfield. Park with the keeper. A gain of about 8 on first down. John Bonney with the stop.
And that's what Park does. He's the better passer, but he can still keep defenses honest with his feet, and especially when you put him in those run-pass option plays.
Chris Nelson in pursuit. And for a moment, it looked like Darius Lee Campbell broken through that secondary for Texas, but Park could not find him.
You felt the pursuit there, too, from Chris Nelson. He knew he had to get that ball out of his hand.
I thought he was going to put it down and run the football right there. Had some space.
Get off the field. The message on third down from Charlie Strong to his defense. That's going to be a hold call as Bryce Cottrell was breaking free. Nick Fett got his hand on that jersey.
Holding, number 62, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
It's hard on the outside to get a reach block sometimes. They were rolling to his side. He was trying to reach and get around it and get that hand outside those shoulder pads. It's going to show up every time, and exactly what happened. And the defense does their job again.
They are doing work. Colin Dowling will boot this one away to our Monty Foreman. Last punt, we saw the deep snapper make the tackle on Foreman. Foreman's got room. Lorenzo Joe gives him a block, and Foreman takes it to the 50.
Special teams plays certainly can change the momentum of a ball game, and this return here at Monty Foreman, Money, doing a good job. Probably designed to go inside there, and this is not always advised in terms of getting outside, but Money gets outside with great blocking there, as you mentioned, from Lorenzo Joe.
Now Lorenzo Joe, the wide receiver, doing a good job blocking downfield for Monty Foreman. And that's what they have not been able to get from the punt return unit. Those kind of chunk yardage on the return plays. Ja'Cory Warwick started off there as the punt returner, but primarily because of his hands as the safe bet. Foreman gives him a little more electricity. Deontay to Shane Buechele's right. Biggest drive of the first half right here. And Lorenzo Joe has the key block, has the key catch here on 1st down. Just the 4th catch of the year for Lorenzo Joe. Sidelined for extended time in camp with a hamstring injury. Good push from Damon Tucker, and that ball is going to be incomplete. Good play by Everett Edwards to break that one up.
All 3 timeouts. Sometimes you got to actually slow the pace down when you're trying to get in the 2-minute and just make sure everybody's on the same page, because you have 3 timeouts. So there's plenty of time on the clock.
3rd and 2. Texas probably thinking 4-down territory here. Not going to need it yet, because to the right side, Foreman breaks free. Brian Peavy forces him out of bounds. Eight yards for Deontay Foreman. And Brian Mills may have saved a touchdown there for Iowa State.
And I would just keep feeding that animal.
Got timeouts? You can sure run the football.
15 carries, 70 yards for Deontay Foreman.
Iowa State takes a timeout just because of that. Say, hey, look, let's get all of our ducks in a row.
6-0 Iowa State, but Texas offensively with their best shot of the night, they get 7.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% will go pro. That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
Don't look. Halloween a year ago, Joel Lanning making his first career start and running over people. Iowa State got to win 24-0. And keep in mind, this was a Cyclones program in turmoil. Leading up to this game, they fired Mark Mangino, the OC, brought in Joel Lanning to replace Samby Richardson. And following the season, making the move, firing Paul Rhodes to bring in Matt Campbell. And once again, a 0 is on the board for Texas in a matchup against the Cyclones. Ja'Cory Warwick open, and what a hit. Cotton Moya comes across to erase a touchdown.
This ball was thrown late. It was a double move. They were able to get the cornerback to bite there. Peavy bit on the double move, couldn't quite connect.
They keep it on the ground to Deontay Foreman, slowly and surely churning out the yards. Flag on the play. Matt Campbell fired up. Your thoughts?
Well, it was an excellent defensive play to stop the touchdown, because it was definitely there. You were right. The ball was a little bit late. Now, this penalty
After the play was over, sportsmanlike conduct. Number 4, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. That's number 4's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for the game.
And Everett Edwards getting more than an earful from Matt Campbell.
Yeah, it's just completely uncalled for.
Yes.
And that's also an offensive lineman egging you on a little bit.
And that was a fourth
I've been
down.
under that pile before, so, but you're right. It's not a smart play, and that is why Coach Campbell certainly let him know about it.
30 seconds on the clock. Foreman working for the yards. Jamal Wiltz, DB stepping up to provide the hit.
Well, Texas can find a way to get this into the end zone, take advantage of a huge mistake there on the penalty. They also get the ball, folks, to start the second half.
And they need this.
Yes, they do.
You can feel there's uncertainty inside the stadium right now. And let's see the hit from Kamari Cotton-Moya. Ja'Cory Warwick had to come back for the football a little bit in his hands. But Cotton-Moya, the junior, that's a clean hit too.
That is, and Cotton-Moya was the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2014. And when that happened, people thought this young man was going to have a promising career. And in talking to the coaches, they say this about him. He's the leader on the field, no question.
Yeah.
He sets everybody up. And that time there, he was in the right place for a very big breakup to give this defense an opportunity to try to get off the field or hold them to a field goal here.
Remember the one word from Sterling Gilbert used to describe this Iowa State defense: stingy.
Yeah.
And that is why going to force a third down. Texas wants to take a timeout. Chat about this with 23 seconds before the break. And another reason why this is so huge: Texas under Charlie Strong 0-14 when trailing at the half. That's what's hanging in the balance on this drive right here.
I think you still run the football here too, folks. I think you give it to number 33. You got a timeout. It gives you a decision on fourth down if you want to go for it. You're obviously at the 4. If he doesn't get in, you can call a timeout. You can either at that point make a decision where we're going to walk away with 3, or you're going to go for it on fourth down. I think this is 4-down territory for me.
Yeah, I think depending on the personnel you bring in, if you can draw some numbers into the box and perhaps maybe take advantage of some of the one-on-one coverage, we've seen a few times them be able to get open on some slant routes, inside routes. This is the perfect time to do it. But I agree with you. I mean, the best football player, in my opinion, on this Texas team offensively is number 33, Deontay Foreman. And when you need a big play, why not go to your playmaker?
3rd and 3. They can pick up a first down without a touchdown, but just barely. And a new wrinkle as Armonte Foreman looking for the fade. And it's overthrown.
Now you got to kick it.
Huge stop for that stingy Iowa State defense.
Yeah, they sent Foreman and Armonte in motion to see if they could get some type of pre-snap read, and Bouchel knew that he had one-on-one on the outside. I thought Armonte didn't turn around quick enough to maybe spot that football, which allowed him to kind of drift a little bit longer. But for Iowa State, this is something that certainly it's setting a trend, and they've got the momentum going into halftime.
And Bouchel under center on that snap. But if it's close, Trent Domain will get it where it needs to go. Texas is on the board, but not in the way that this Texas offense needs to be.
Well, on third down for me, with the timeout left, I'm looking to run the football with number 33, and then I can use my timeout. He did get the coverage to the outside. Ahmad, you were right. That ball, he's open. It just didn't get the connection right there for the touchdown.
And, Iowa State defensively, they were stacked up to stop the run. They had their goal line package in, and they were in zero coverage, meaning there is no middle of the field help. Everybody is committed to stopping the run unless you've got a wide receiver you're covering, and that's why Bouchel went with the matchup. I have a feeling right now they're discussing that. When you've got a young quarterback, and we've talked to Sterling Gilbert prior to both times we've done this, he says, we've still got a young quarterback. He's still learning sometimes to make the best decision. He makes good decisions right now, but the best decision is what is going to make this young man be great down the road.
And guys, I heard you, especially you, Ahmad. I mean, preaching this team, Iowa State, better than the 1-5 record. The defense, they fly around, like you said, Keith, they play with passion. Shocked, though, that there's 3 points on the board for this Texas offense. Iwangu with the return. He's got room to the left side. Mitchell Becker makes the play. The kickoff specialist saw Iwangu in the open field. So 7 seconds left. What's the approach here for Iowa State? You're trying for a quick one to set up a field goal, or you shooting long?
Well, you've got enough time to run a 15-yard out or something, and you have 2 timeouts left, so the middle of the field is open. But you got to know, you got to have that time clock in your head if you're a quarterback to know, I've got to get rid of the football in a hurry.
And you've got the bigger arm of Jacob Park in the game. Keep in mind, Cole Netton has made 15 straight.
Texas in prevent defense with safeties about 20 yards deep.
On an open receiver, and he gets out in time to Shante Jones. And that will set up what will either be a heave for the end zone or a Cole Netton field goal attempt. And Netton trots out onto the field.
Well, this is going to be right at the end of his window as far as his length. He's an excellent kicker, but special teams maybe leads to points before the half.
He's only attempted 1 from 40+ this season. He's made 15 straight, an Iowa State record. And no good. But the damage still done here in the first half. Iowa State's going to go to the locker room, I would imagine, feeling pretty good about where they stand right now.
This Texas defense has only given up 140 yards. And they were able to hold this Iowa State defense to field goals inside the red zone.
Let's go down to Don Davenport, who's with the head coach.
Well, Coach Strong, you settled for 3 instead of 6 there. What needs to change from an execution standpoint for your offense?
Well, we just got to execute, and that's what we're not doing right now. We're not making the throws, and every time we get a drive going, it's a penalty to stop us. So we just got to eliminate the penalties and just continue to play.
On the other side of the ball, different story for your defense. What have you done to be able to hold them to just 6 points, 140 yards?
We're just playing well. They're getting pressure on the quarterback, and then we're stopping the run.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Don, thank you. It's time for Texas Game Day at the half. Time to toss it to my guys. Emmanuel Acho, Ricky Williams, Vince Young, and Alex Loeb. Lober, take it away, baby. Back here in Austin, first half, just like nobody called it. A 6-3 game with Iowa State leading over Texas. All field goals to this point in time as we head into the second half. Logan Lindo here with Ahmad Brooks and Keith Moreland. Charlie Strong has been frustrated, not just because of the losses, but because he says they haven't played a complete game this season. Typically, it's the offense is working. The defense letting everybody down. Here it's switched because the defense is playing lights out in the first half.
Well, they did a really nice job, folks, of getting after the quarterback with just 4. They were able to get penetration, slow down the run, and then rush 4 and get to the quarterback. It changed the complexion, and then they played great sudden change defense after the turnover. They've held Iowa State to just 6 points in the first half. But when you look at that, you're still trailing on the scoreboard because they haven't put a complete game together at any point here so far.
And to that point, alignment and assignment football, we talked about fundamentals at the jump in the open. You know what else has improved? Tackling. And you haven't seen a lot of guys missing tackles and missing opportunities to drag ball carriers down.
Texas deferred after winning the toss. They will start on offense to open up the second half. Now it's time for the Coors Light cold hard facts. And we look at the drive chart here for Texas. One drive for more than 40 yards in the first half. And not seen here, Keith, the countless penalties and miscues to keep pushing Texas back.
Well, the first drive ends in no points because of a offensive pass interference penalty. Later in the drive, the third drive of the ball game ends in a punt after you've gained over 30 yards because of a penalty. They have shot themselves in the foot offensively, and they've done it with the flag coming out.
And the third are the 3 points on board, courtesy of a penalty from Iowa State defensively with that big personal foul. Would have set up a 4th down. It moved the chains to allow Texas to get that field goal. And there is Jake Oliver, Mr. Reliable. That's what Charlie Strong calls him. Right back to number 6. Jake Oliver, the all-time leader in receptions in Texas high school history. Sterling Gilbert said of that record, you know you can catch if you've got a record like that. Let's check in with Don Davenport.
Lowell, winning first downs certainly slows down an offense. Head coach Matt Campbell told me at the half that's what his team did early, and they have to continue to do that. Now, he fully expects this Texas offense to open things up, throw the deep ball. He told me he warned his team that was coming. They have to be ready for it.
Still waiting for that big shot, and that is what this Texas offense really thrives upon. The shots downfield is Jamal Wiltz, who has done a good job protecting downfield, limps to the sideline. Into double coverage, Nigel Tribune got his hands on it as the speedster Devin Duvernay was going deep.
Yeah, hard to outthrow that guy. Just world-class speed from number 2, Mr. Duvernay. And that time there was the Iowa State secondary was in the perfect location.
Yes, they
and
did.
had he thrown that ball where it had been catchable, Tribune, I believe, had the best shot to make a play on it.
Third catch of the opening drive of the second half for Jake Oliver, fighting for yardage as he's going to set up a 3rd and short. Mike Johnson with the tackle.
Yeah, they caught him that time in a nickel blitz and just threw into the teeth of it, right exactly where they left.
Bouchel with the keep. And that's good enough for the first down. Willie Harvey brought him down as he pulled it from the belly of Deontay Foreman. Dorian Leonard, quick pass to the outside, a big knock by Brian Peavy.
Some confusion from Iowa State right now in the secondary. This quick offense, there's guys out of position. They haven't been able to line up.
Dorian Leonard has become a go-to receiver for this Texas offense. There he is again. Gerard Hurd and Jake Oliver trying to set him up with the blocks.
Yeah, and the quick passing game is almost an addition to your running game. And Texas right now has come out in the second half. And this Iowa State defense has backed off. I mean, you see all these guys. Look at how deep they are in coverage. Yep. And that is why Texas is taking advantage of the short and quick passing game.
Dorian Leonard has been targeted 9 times. And there's Kamari Cotton-Moya, who is limping off. Cotton-Moya had one of the defensive plays of the first half as he broke up a pass in the end zone intended for Ja'Cory Warwick that was in his hands. It would have been a touchdown for the Texas offense. Cotton-Moya has been dealing with injuries throughout his career and this season as well. D'Onta Foreman still looking for his first carry of the second half. Won't get it here. On the slant, Armonte Foreman. The stiff arm, and it bats his way into the end zone. Flag on the play. Will they call Foreman to the face, or will that one go on Mike Johnson? 37-yard touchdown catch for Armonte Foreman. They faked the bubble screen, had Foreman on the slant, and impressive yards after the catch.
Texas did a nice job of setting that play up, Keith.
No doubt.
They kept peppering them with that screen and just the quick hot route, and all of a sudden you allow Foreman to get in behind him on a slant, and the corner took a bad angle. The safety was not in the right position, and Foreman, I thought he did an excellent job of finishing off this play.
And remember the story Dylan Haynes shared about Shane Buechele when he knew he was the real deal in practice. That same pass, bubble screen with the slant, tried to sit down on the bubble and pick it off.
There are fouls by both teams. Personal foul, face mask, number 3. Offense, personal foul, face mask, number 3. Defense, those fouls will offset. Replay, first down.
Just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
This happened inside the 5-yard line. At the end of the play, you can see Foreman definitely gets a part of the face mask, and then you're right, it's on both teams.
A little too aggressive with the stiff arm for money. Armonte Foreman. Really, every drive except one, you've had a significant miscue from the Texas offense. Is Buechele wide open? Gerard Hurd! Touchdown! Gerard Hurd with his third touchdown reception after quarterbacking the Texas offense a year ago. 37 yards.
Watch the blitz pick up right here from D'Onta Foreman, which allowed him to shuffle inside of that pocket and hit Gerard Hurd. Foreman not just showing that he can run the football, but buying time for his quarterback. And one of the better throws tonight we've seen downfield from Buechele as the Horns finally find pay dirt.
Quick strike offense. So essentially back-to-back 37-yard touchdowns, except this one counts.
On an excellent move, double move, and you guys, you've got to find a way to pick up the blitz. Young freshman steps up after the double move, and that's one of them where you think about not overthrowing it in that scenario. He laid it in perfectly, Hurd in for the touchdown. Scored 3 right before the half. Take the first possession, second half, go down and take the lead.
And let me take some time here to also talk about the unselfishness of Gerard Hurd. This young man, if you've watched him develop at the wide receiver position over the last several weeks, his routes are getting better. I think he's still trying to improve himself as a blocker. That's something he'll learn as he gets a more physical nature. But he has been a threat, and teams have to defend him. And I don't think that when he made this move that many people would have thought that he could have been this effective.
No.
And he's got a quarterback, Shane Buechele, throwing to him that can certainly find him when he's open like that.
Now leads the team with 3 touchdown catches this season. Playmaker, Gerard Hurd. Nwangu from his own end zone. Barney gets blocked out of the play. And Vaccaro forces him out of bounds. So Texas has something going here. The offense is back to what we thought it would do. If the defense can continue its surprising uptick, Texas has something here.
One thing for sure, though, both of these teams have struggled in the second half. And the team right now in a close ball game that takes control, grabs it by the horns, and decides that they will not lose this ball game and has the resiliency to fight off the momentum swings that come along with second half of football, I think that'll be the team at the end of this that'll come out as the victor.
Joel Lanning got the start. Was in for the first 3 drives, and then, as expected, there was a switch at quarterback. Jacob Park came in, ran the Cyclones offense for the rest of the first half. Lanning with the key. And Deshaun Elliott lowering the shoulder, but so did Lanning on the kick.
Well, he's a powerful runner. He finishes the run right there. He's not like your normal quarterback.
No, he's not.
He lowers his shoulder and finishes.
Yeah, former wrestler. And his coach has said he plays like that. And they've tried to dial it down and tell him, we need you, big guy. But that is just part of his DNA, to be tough and physical.
There are certain quarterbacks that simply like the contact. And like a Colin Klein, Joel Lanning is one of those quarterbacks. Of course, not comparing him to the Kansas State great, because that man won. Lanning and Park dueling for this quarterback job, looking for the same result, wins. You see 6 points generated from Joel Lanning, got into the red zone twice, and the Texas defense able to hold. Puna Ford into the backfield, but Lanning escapes as Malik Jefferson forces him out of bounds with Chris Nelson in pursuit as well.
Good defense, only a two-man route downfield, and they had it shored up, which allowed Malik Jefferson and the rest of the Longhorns to get to the quarterback and force him to step out of bounds. Now you've got a third and long situation. Charlie Strong loves to bring the pressure in these types of situations.
And you have speed on the field. Drake Hager, Jeffrey McCulloch, Malcolm Roach, all approaching the line of scrimmage. McCulloch backs off. As Drake Hager comes up with the sack. Texas only brought 3, but when one of the 3 is big 44, you've got issues.
That's the cat and mouse game you have to play as a defensive coordinator. The flag is out on the field.
And you can see the frustration on the look on the faces from the Texas defense. John Bonney, he knows something bad is coming right now with this call. And Hager went in to try to persuade the refs.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 2, defense, taunting.
Wow.
15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. Automatic, first down. That's
You just
number 2's
honestly,
first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for the game.
you want to say, come on, guys. Get out of your own way.
You're right. And what did I say in the first half? I said, I love Chris Boyd's energy. Sometimes he's got to learn, even as a young player, when to put a lid on that. And typically that means you do it after a whistle. The taunting has to stop, and I'm sure Charlie Strong and his staff will let him know about it.
Your defense should be off the field right now. 6 penalties, 65 yards on Texas. Warren the carry, met in the backfield. Good penetration as the true freshman Jordan Elliott ends up making the stop.
The defensive line is winning the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The 4 have been able to get the rush. They're also stopping the running game with their penetration.
4 senior offensive linemen for Iowa State, but one of the most inexperienced O-lines in the country coming into this season. On the money to Alan Lazard, who made the break in perfect time with the one-on-one coverage with John Bonney.
Lanning does a great job here, Ahmad. He releases this football right before this break. Right now, the ball's in the air. It surprised him that the ball was there that quickly.
Shifty move from Mike Warren. Chris Boyd makes the stop.
We talked about the talent level of skill players at Iowa State, and what I love about Chris Warren is he's a guy that just keeps his feet clean. Not a guy that you're ever going to get a real big shot on because he's shifty and strong.
Open field stop from John Bonney, incomplete to Alan Lazard.
Ahmad, you talked about tackling. It's been much better tonight.
I agree, Keith. Can they keep it going, and especially on downs like this where they certainly look like they're about to run the football?
And potentially 4-down territory for the Cyclones. Quarterback draw. You got it. But so does the Texas defense. Hager there to make the stop again. Anthony Wheeler in the mix as well.
Yeah, and the young freshman also getting involved in the action. Number 55, Jordan Elliott. This is team defense right here. Brick and Hager, wow, getting in the backfield. Great job of being able to change directions and force that play right back into Wheeler. Wheeler has had some great performances here of late, as this is a big fourth down. Can they do it again?
And Iowa State wants to talk it out. Timeout. Matt Campbell thinking about it for 4th and 1. 4th and 1 back at DKR. Iowa State with the ball at the Texas 25. Matt Campbell, Charlie Strong about to bust some heads. And the stop in the backfield. Puna Ford. Charlie Strong fired up. And a flag. Hold that thought, Charlie Strong. Give the people here in Austin a reason to be excited and to keep it up.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 44, Texas. The first down was not made. Texas will get the ball after the penalty enforcement, half the distance to the goal. It's going to be first down for Texas. That's number 44's first unsportsmanlike conduct for the game.
So Texas dodges a bullet by the fact that it was a turnover on downs before the call came on Brett Hager.
And prior to that, Texas had 6 penalties for 65 yards.
Well, they got 7 now for a grand total of 80. And you got to keep your composure. Yes, you're going to be excited, but you got to keep your composure. If football does go over, so the defense does find a way to get a stop. Does a nice job. Great penetration up front. The defense in front has controlled the line of scrimmage, and they do again there on 4th down.
I really thought coming into the year, the question mark for the Texas defense wasn't on the back end. It was the D-line. And the D-line has far exceeded expectations for this season.
And maybe that's what Hager was trying to explain to the coaches.
Deontay Foreman taken down for a loss as Mitchell Myers. An amazing story for Myers. Has beaten cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and beat that to return to be one of the leaders of this Iowa State team. Amazing to see Mitchell Myers out here on the football field for Iowa State. Duvernay open on the sideline. And Bouchel hits him. We're going to have a 3rd down coming up.
Great play call there from Gilbert. He got Bouchel on the move and had a flood route over here to this side of the field.
Foreman bulldozing his way for the first down.
And now is around the time when those defenders don't want to tackle him. And this is usually when he'll pop a big one, when guys are worn down from being physical with this guy all game long.
Bouchel got time. He's got Duvernay open on the sideline. The speedster. You're not going to catch him. Duvernay, the distance. 75 yards for the true freshman.
We talked about the vertical passing game. Got into it. He's got world-class speed.
Yes, he does.
There is no question about it. You can see As he gets to the outside right here, in and out, wheel route, out of the slot position.
Just like they got Oklahoma.
And he finds the sidelines, breaks the tackle, and ain't nobody going to catch him.
And you talked about that world-class speed, but you know what I'm more impressed with is the physicality there. He saw the safety coming. He didn't cower out or give alligator arms and was able to make that catch and make a big play for his team.
And the same look they got on Jordan Thomas in Oklahoma for Duvernay's touchdown in Dallas. But this was really set up on
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Whataburger. If you love sweet and spicy, you'll love Whataburger's sweet and spicy bacon burger. Here for a limited time.
Welcome back to beautiful Austin, Texas. Man, this is a Texas football team. Let's just be honest. They do things that will make you scratch your head and ask yourself, why? But they also bring the energy like the Hellraisers right here at DKR. This is a team that's playing with passion and energy to the point that in some instances it's hurting them. But when you bottle it in the right direction, that's what happens on the last drive. Fourth down stop leading to the touchdown from Devin Duvernay. Nwangu with the return. And brought down around the 20-yard line. And this was an Iowa State offense that had come in 3 games, 117 points, and look what the Texas defense has done against one of the hottest offenses in the Big 12 tonight.
Well, a tackle for losses, that's huge. That puts them behind the chains. And this is an offense for the Cyclones that wants to stay ahead of the chains and be 2nd and 5, not 2nd and 13. And then the other part, the season high sacks. And Ahmad, they haven't done that with the blitz. They've done that with the front 4.
You're right.
What did we hear from Charlie Strong about the way he wanted his defense to play, make him grind it out? And Iowa State has had to work for all 6 of these points. But there's the big play that Charlie Strong wanted to avoid. Deshaunte Jones sliding through the Texas secondary, and he's in Texas territory before John Bonney can bring him down.
Speaking of sliding, Lanning slid right up in this pocket. As it starts to get a little tight, watch the movement here. The eyes, never brought his eyes down. He kept them up, and that's what allowed him to be able to complete that throw.
Cyclones want to speed it up. And a drop from Daly.
Just lack of focus there.
Yeah. Cyclones, the other part for me is they haven't been able to get that third big member of their offense going. Lassard has not gotten involved in the game. This is a big-time receiver, folks. He's 6'3", 220 pounds with great speed.
And keep in mind, we saw Trevor Ryan, their standout slot receiver, limp off the field earlier in the game. To Montgomery on the swing pass. And a lot of burnt orange conversion quickly. And one thing we have not seen, we saw Deshaunte Jones going for 42 yards, but we haven't seen him sideline to sideline like we saw him a week ago against Oklahoma State.
You're absolutely right. And he's also their gadget guy as well here on this 3rd and short. Looks like there's man free in the back end for this Texas Longhorns.
Lanning changing it up, 5 seconds on the play clock, and he's calling for that timeout. A win for the fans here at DKR. Texas trying to keep the juice flowing. They've found it offensively in the defense. They've been doing it since the get-go.
You're watching Longhorn Network. Hook 'em.
Joel Lanning chatting it up with his offensive coordinator, Tom Manning. They try to dial up the right call here on 3rd and 5.
This is very part of the field. Their last drive, they were unsuccessful, went for it on 4th down. Not really in field goal range. It would be a long one at this point, but I think this is probably 4 down territory right now.
Deshaun Hughes with the sack, sending the Iowa State defense back once again. And it's a season high 7 sacks for Charlie Strong and this fired up Texas defense.
Just up front, winning the line of scrimmage. You can see Coach Strong right here. He's excited about it. 7th time.
Give him the boom.
Texas has gotten to the quarterback. He's going to force a punt now. Takes him out of 4-down territory.
And Deshaun Hughes on that particular play was on a stunt. He came from outside, came all the way back in around to the A and the B gap. And I think he caught the offensive line off guard and was able to track down the quarterback.
Dowling, high, lofting punt. Good bounce, and that's going to be out inside the 5-yard line. As the defense, man, they've shown up ready to play. From the start of this game, we knew this was an Iowa State offense. One of the better running backs in the Big 12. Good core receivers. They had been hot lately. And Texas, quite frankly, they were struggling in the previous 3 games, allowing more than 500 yards in 3 straight games. Took a little while for the offense to get going, but now this is the most complete half of football so far that we've seen this season from Texas. So the Texas defense, after allowing 555 and 49 points at Oklahoma State, Charlie Strong said, I'm taking over. Tyrone Swoop's now taking over for the Texas offense. The second snap of the night. He's going to keep Kane Sealy. No one wants to be Kane Sealy on that play. I mean, he made the tackle, but probably going to feel it as well.
Yeah, and you'll feel it tomorrow. No doubt about it.
And keep in mind, too, this is a Texas offensive line right now, currently playing without 2 starters. We saw Zach Shackelford go down at center, so Jake McMillan has taken his place. Brandon Hodges was a late scratch at right tackle. Tristan Nicholson there. Get Deontay Foreman fighting for every inch until Willie Harvey comes up with a stop. Let's check in with Dawn.
Hey, you mentioned Zach Shackelford suffered that left ankle injury. He was out here suited up, running some footwork. He actually looked like he was moving pretty well, but he just headed back in, and he is officially out. We will not see him again.
Thanks for that update. Foreman, the key, moves the chains. And Deontay Foreman closing in on his 7th straight 100-yard performance, which would be the longest active streak in America, breaking the tie with Leonard Fournette, who is out of action. 22 carries, 88 yards. Buechele rolling, almost picked off. As Jamal Wiltz was thinking pick 6, and that was a potential game changer.
It was a game changer, and that's one of the things a young quarterback will learn. You could see his eyes to the outside. He was looking for Duvernay, same play we saw earlier. He did not see the guy coming from the inside, got away with one there.
Going back to Duvernay. And a gain of about 4 yards as DeAndre Payne makes the stop.
For the Cyclones, this is the biggest play of the ballgame. Texas taking control of the game to this point. They've got to get a stop right now.
Texas now sitting at 50% on 3rd down. We'll take that all season long. This is where Buechele has struggled on 3rd down. 49% completion percentage, 3 interceptions. His QBR is 30, the worst in the Big 12 in 3rd down situations. Duvernay, second effort's going to get the 1st down. And Devin Duvernay showing up in the second half. His 4th catch of the ball game. That puts him at 95 yards. As Duvernay on the cusp of his first 100-yard performance for the Texas offense.
Really starting to find his feel for this offense.
Dorian Leonard and Devin Duvernay, they've been the best 2 receivers the past 2 games. Slipping out of the tackle is Colin Johnson. Back-to-back throws, back-to-back 1st downs.
Just an impressive athlete at 6'6", excellent with body control, and actually for his size, great hand and eye coordination, great hands, catches it away from his body.
Yeah, in a moment, we're going to try to show you just how athletic Colin Johnson can be as Buechele takes the big shot. And here is Colin Johnson in pregame warm-ups. Look at this. You're talking about a man that is 6'6", 212 pounds. That's a backflip. Sticks the landing. Put that one in the playbook. Johnson again.
He's winning that one-on-one matchup outside with Tribune, and they just substituted cornerbacks, and part of it is Colin's large frame. You can be in the prime position to defend him, but with his reach and his length, it's almost impossible to defend if you're not his height.
It's a rhythm offense, and Texas is on pace right now. Jerron Hurd just shy of the first down. Texas wants to go. Foreman. Wow. Talk about athleticism and a large frame from Colin Johnson to Deontay Foreman on that move.
That's a pretty good sized hurdle he got over right there.
3rd and 1. Foreman's got it.
His defense struggling to get lined up, got their hands on their hip when they get up. They're confused from their signals from the sidelines. You can tell they're having a tough time getting what calls are coming in. Offensive line starting to take over for Texas.
Texas 5 for 5 on 3rd down in the second half. Buechele taking a shot. Some hand checking. Colin Johnson probably going to win this battle with Jay Jones, courtesy of the PI.
Number 12, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
You talked about his size and his frame. If you look at it, I mean, your next defensive back really wasn't that bad of coverage.
I agree.
Ended with the field goal. Foreman not settling for 3 here. 7 straight 100-yard games for Deontay Foreman. 18 yards and in. Jake McMillan paving the way at center. And it's 23-6. Texas starting to churn.
That is what Deontay Foreman does best. He wears you down. The longer and the more you feed this kid, the stronger he gets. He's shown that. Showed it last week versus Oklahoma. The week before that, before he went injured, he was getting stronger at Oklahoma State. Deontay Foreman is the real deal.
And no issues on the extra point. Second half going well for these Texas Longhorns. The big play starting to come. Deontay Foreman, he's beat down this Iowa State defense himself. Now he's reaping the benefits. There's no doubt that Deontay Foreman now belongs on the landscape, the top running backs and all of college football. Forget about the Big 12 right now. With that John into the end zone, it makes 7 straight 100-yard games. That's the longest active streak in the bowl subdivision.
Legit.
When you're passing up Leonard Fournette, welcome to the big time.
Indeed.
And Deontay Foreman, man, licking his chops. We knew he wasn't 100% against Oklahoma in this game. He looks 100%.
Well, he's done a nice job using his speed to the outside. He finishes runs. That's the thing that impresses me is he punishes you at the end of the run, and then he has the ability when you give him a gap to take it to the house.
In our pregame show, had a conversation with Ricky Williams, and we tiered the best running backs in Texas history, with Earl and Ricky being tier number 1, tier number 2, Cedric Benson, Jamal Charles, Chris Gilbert. Ricky said that at this pace, Foreman likely ends up in Tier 2, has a shot for Tier 1. Jacob Park in at quarterback, eluding the pressure, and picks up a nice chunk on first down.
That was a very creative play there, buying time with his feet, protecting the football, not throwing it away, and picking up some decent first down yardage, which certainly gives them a great start to this drive.
Deshaun Elliott flying in to put down Mike Warren.
We talked about the sacks. How about the tackles for losses? Another one right there. Just Cyclones have not been able to get ahead of the chains at any point here in the second half.
Yeah, Charlie, a strong question whether they even had a tackle for loss last week against Oklahoma. This one's simple. Yes, you have plenty of them. And a dominant defensive performance for Charlie Strong and his Texas defense against the Iowa State Cyclones. Let the good times roll going into the fourth quarter. No, you! Charlie Strong dropping the hammer on Iowa State. Back off our coach. That has been the message verbally for these Texas players all season long. And you were waiting, though, to see them really put the actions where their words are. And against Notre Dame, you saw so much emotion pouring out with that double OT win, celebration in the locker room. But you questioned if they love Charlie Strong so much, where is the fight on the football field? And there is no doubt we have seen it tonight here, as the Texas defense holding the Cyclones to 6 points as we start the fourth quarter. Chris Boyd almost has the interception.
That would have capped off an already ferocious night.
Ferocious is a great way to put it.
For Chris Boyd, with the exception of a pretty silly penalty. But here, wide receiver slips down, and those are called gimme picks. You don't get a lot of those as a defensive back. Typically, the quarterback is not throwing to you that time. Turned it to a wide receiver and missed an opportunity.
Well, let's get into how much this team loves their head coach. Coach Strong told us that earlier this week, a group of players came over to Moncrief to the Texas football offices around 10 o'clock after study hall to check on Charlie Strong, to make sure that he was doing okay. Ramonte Foreman's going to be taken down right around the 20-yard line, flagged down. The players came in his office, checked on him, even tried to get him to go to the players' lounge to play a game of pool just to take his mind off the issues in that 3-game losing streak.
Well, I think the first thing that you do in listening to him, yes, the players are trying to do everything they can do, and he's trying to take pressure off of them.
So
don't look at the flag.
Illegal block in the back, number 23. Return team. Half the distance to the goal. Texas keeps the ball. First down.
But Ahmad and I talking about that. Ahmad, you were right. He can't keep that away from him. But with everything that's going on with social media, every place else, they're hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's out there. So, and I know he wants them to just, you worry about going to school, be a student, and play, and work as hard as you can. I'll take the flag. And that's hard to do.
And we look at the numbers. We all agree. Charlie Strong will agree. Those numbers, not good enough.
Hard to sell progress when you're 13-17 and you've got a losing record in the Big 12 play.
Well, the one thing Charlie Strong does, he owns all of it and puts it on himself.
And I think also the indication is through the players. You know, I've played with, not everybody I played for like Mike Brown. I hope that doesn't surprise anybody. There are some coaches that you cling to, that you love, that you enjoy being around. And you're right. He's a very genuine guy. He's very transparent. And if you ask him a question, more than likely he's going to give you what he really thinks about it.
Foreman finding a way to slip through tackles. Let's check in with Don.
You know, Lowell, it's really this staff as a whole that puts an emphasis on developing relationships and getting to know their kids. Sterling Gilbert wanders in and out of the locker room during the week. He'll pop into the ice tub area, he told us, just to make sure a player who had a bad practice is okay, as he says, just to hug his neck. You know, I saw him and quarterback Shane Buechele prior to kick in this one give each other a big hug. You can see it's something that's clearly important to them.
And it means so much for Gilbert to meet with his players immediately after the game. Never wants them to leave dejected, and it tore him apart. Following the loss to Cal, he said it's his first time around a program with a major media presence like Texas. He didn't realize all the demands on his time immediately following a game, and by the time he did all his post-game interviews and got to the locker room, the players were not there anymore. And that broke his heart, that he was not able to go into that locker room, hug him on the neck, look him in the eyes.
I think the important part of that is look him in the eye and say, hey, it's just a game. I mean, yes, you want to play. Yes, it's important, but it's just a game.
Texas offensively wants to keep it rolling here in the fourth quarter, a 3rd and 3, moving the chains here. Allow them to do so.
Appears to be zero coverage across the board. Man-to-man opportunities for Texas to take advantage of.
Swing pass to Foreman. Everett Edwards with the stop.
I really like that play call, especially when they're starting to stack the box. I talked about zero coverage. You run that when you're trying to defend the run, and you can still get the football in the hands of your best player. They put him on a swing route, get the ball to him. Excellent play call there.
The ruling on the field was a catch for a first down. The previous play is under further review.
So we're going to check this spot here. I believe our first review of the evening.
See the swing to the outside. Linebacker can't get there. Where is he? Out of bounds there, but where's the football at that point? It's out in front of him, I believe, at that point. He's a yard short. At that point, you can see his left foot is out of bounds there, but the football seems to me to be across the line of the game. I'm not sure there's enough evidence to overturn that.
No, I'm with you there, Keith.
And we got an opportunity this week to talk to head coach Matt Campbell about Anthony Johnson, the new running backs coach for the University of Texas, and had an opportunity to play with Anthony Johnson. And one thing I know about him is he is going to teach these young running backs how to share the field. And in that room, more than most rooms, there are a lot of egos, guys that get, you know, their name in the press clippings, and it takes a coach that's able to manage those personalities. And AJ has a fun-loving way that makes me believe that he could get guys like Deontay Foreman, Chris Warren on the same page and understand the importance of sharing those touches.
Because you walked into the meeting room and you told him, hey, great job with Deontay. And he just laughed like, come on. I mean, that's Deontay, you know?
No doubt. Oh, boy. I remember Bruce Chambers when he was here coaching under Mac Brown. His chief responsibility was to get Ricky to the bus. And that was he had one job, get Ricky to the bus on time. And Coach Johnson is now almost turning into that type of coach. Get Deontay Foreman to the bus.
Are you trying to say that Ricky will not show up on time?
Hey, I'm not commenting on that.
How about your role in Ricky's Heisman season?
Oh, boy.
Tell him about the shoes.
Oh, man.
Tell him about the shoes.
I was just an eager freshman, you know, trying to find my way in the locker room, and I don't even remember how it happened. I think Ricky actually threatened me to polish his shoes. And, you know, Chip, the head equipment guy here at the University of Texas, been here for a while, let me do it. And it was one of those moments. I always tell people, every time you see...
The ruling on the field stands. First down.
Every time you see Ricky Williams running, look at his shoes. I'm a part of him. So hopefully I buffed him up good enough, and, you know, just great time. That was one of the funnest things in my life, was to sit here, watch Ricky Williams win the Heisman, and just to be a part of that special season.
And for old time's sake, sometimes you'll catch him on Brooks at Ricky Williams' bronze statue. Just shining those shoes.
Not with polish.
Deontay Foreman running wild. Willie Harvey brings him down. And Deontay not just going over 100 yards in 7 straight. He's got a touchdown in all 7 of those 100-yard gains. Now up to 127 on the ground. Buechele letting it fly. Contact as he made the throw as Dorian Leonard tries to go up. A good battle with Brian Peavy.
Yeah, I don't really mind that throw there. I mean, you know, Wiltz is 5'10". He's throwing to a 6'4" Leonard. He saw one-on-one opportunity. Give your wide receiver an opportunity to be able to go up and win that matchup. And then you see here in the pocket, got kind of tight.
Yeah, he actually hits his own man there.
Indeed, and
Kent Perkins.
Wasn't able to step into that throw like he would have liked to have done.
He showed a good touch once again on the deep ball. Quick pass here to Monty Foreman. And Nigel Tribune is there to make the stop. It was interesting talking about the deep ball with Shane Buechele, because he told us he actually was not good at throwing the deep ball in high school at Arlington Lamar. It was just when he showed up at campus, knowing that that was such a key part of the offense, that he really started to improve his game there. And Deontay, follow me. Follow me.
Yeah, you'd be hard-pressed to try to find the hole there. I mean, this guy.
He makes his own holes.
He makes his own holes. That time there, it didn't look like there was many creases, and he managed to get his frame, all 250 pounds of it, through there.
Nice pocket as Buechele fits that one in the small window to Lorenzo Joe.
That's a good route also by Joe. Goes down, finds the soft spot in the zone, comes back to the football.
Back to Deontay. Gabe Luna.
Deontay
brings him down.
Takes the will away from a defense. And the reason being, he keeps pounding on you, keeps pounding it, takes the will away to play defense.
The observations back that up, as well as the stats. Foreman, 8.4 yards per carry in the second half this season, 10.7 yards per carry in the fourth quarter.
Just takes the will to play defense away from you.
Yeah.
He just grinds you down.
Hey, and Shane Buechele, not too shabby as well. He gave a lot of credit to Deontay Foreman for setting up this offense, but Buechele, we're looking at a career performance, 287 yards here against the Cyclones defense.
And he's missed some opportunities. And I think he'd tell you that, you know, a few deep balls that he might have been able to connect on. But this young man is just so impressive. And when we had an opportunity to sit down with him yesterday, I think we all were kind of in awe of how mature he is at this point in his career. And we even asked a few of the players, hey, does this shock you that this young freshman is doing what he's doing with the type of poise and temperament he's doing it with? And they all just shook their head. He's a fine player, and I specifically asked him yesterday, did he want to be great? And he did not hesitate answering that question. He immediately said, yes, I want to be a player that's in the same category as the Vince Youngs, the Bobby Lanes, and the Colt McCoys. And I've got to say, it's refreshing to hear somebody with his talent and his humility embrace that type of role.
But he also knew what guys like Colt and VY did.
Indeed.
He said they won.
Yep.
Kyle Porter giving Deontay Foreman and the Iowa State defense a break from Deontay Foreman. There's one of those shortstop flips out to the right side as Lorenzo Joe refuses to go down. And Keith, he's got that baseball background, talked about playing shortstop, was used to throwing from different platforms.
So he does. He's over the top when he goes vertical, out to the side as he does right there. He has the ability to drop down, get underneath the defender, and get the ball quickly out of his hands.
3rd and 5. Iowa State needs a stop to get the momentum back. And it looks like they're going to have an opportunity with a 4th down coming up as the spot is short. And the Texas fans, they're calling for it. Tyrone Swoops inching closer to the field. They'll stick with Buechele on a 4th and short.
Plenty of time on the play clock here, so don't have to rush this.
Batted down, and that one is intercepted off the tip. It ends up just being like a turnover on downs as Justin Thomas got that pick. Buechele, of course, does not want to see that blemish in his box score as Jaquan Bailey was able to make the stop. But this is big for Iowa State. I mean, they've been in ball games. Past 2 games against Baylor and Oklahoma State. The issue has been the fourth quarter, outscored 17-0 in both of those fourth quarters. Matt Campbell has to stop. Can he get his offense going? Austin, Texas, you are an amazing city. What a night for a guy like Shaka Smart, men's basketball coach here at the University of Texas. Has a handful of recruits in town. Well, this is the type of night you want to have them exposed to here at Austin. Deshante Jones, catch on first down. We're also going to see the Texas men's basketball program back in action. Preseason tip-off at Gregory Gymnasium on Thursday night. It's an inter-squad scrimmage that you can catch right here on Longhorn Network. Flag down, Iowa State. They know what's coming. They're moving backwards.
Personal foul, chop block, number 68, 61 of the offense. 15-yard penalty, still first down.
So for the Cyclones, that penalty obviously hurts. They've had a couple of these that really helped the
high
momentum.
and low out, and that was out on the side on the screen.
So we still got a game, but the Cyclones need to make something happen right here. Jacob Park thrown across his body, and Deshante Jones in and out of his hands.
Texas has most of its backups and reserves in the ball game at this point. Looks like they're trying to get him some valuable reps.
It's a complete new secondary in the game.
Brandon Jones back at safety, the true freshman, with Kevin Vaccaro as well. Antoine Davis with the blitz. Jacob Park still running. And he skips that one downfield as he was looking for Dondre Daly. There's all the pressure from the nickel back Antoine Davis from Bastrop, Texas.
Defensive front still controlling the line of scrimmage zone. Not a lot of time to develop. You don't have a lot of plays in your playbook for 3rd and 25.
Man, if I'm Charlie Strong here, I just have my guys in the secondary backed off deep for this 3rd and long. Keep everything in front of you. Come up, wrap up, make a play. Get your offense back out on the field.
Star freshman Eric Fowler, 41 at the bottom of the D-line. Hager nearly gets him from the backside. Looking for Mike Warren. And the Texas defense forcing the 3 and out.
Consistent pressure. That was good coverage. He could not throw that on time because there was no receiver. It forced him out of the pocket.
You've mentioned this a few times tonight, though, but that 4-man rush, I think, has been the difference tonight.
Yes, it has.
Being able to even just get pressure. I know they didn't get the sack there, but flushing the quarterback, forcing him to make a throw on the move, one that he didn't want to make, I think was the key there.
Rugby punt. Foreman will have a chance. Texas opening it up in the second half. It's 24-6. Not the high-scoring Big 12 affair we expected. And now for our turning point, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Texas up 10-6. 4th and 1 at the 25. The Horns get the stop, and then on the very next drive, 75 yards, Buechele, Duvernay, and Texas At that point in time, it captured all the momentum inside DKR. The juice was flowing after the longest play from scrimmage for this Texas team this season. Kyle Porter opens up this drive with the carry.
A major part of this second half, guys, has been the offensive line. There's no doubt about it in my mind. You have two starters missing. Brendan Hodges has not played in the game. You lose Shackelford in the first half.
Yeah.
And they haven't missed a beat up front.
Helps to have Deontay Foreman as well. And when it comes to the quarterback, I just can't imagine a scenario in where you could have wanted more, honestly, with your expectations from a true freshman at quarterback.
He's been phenomenal. And, you know, and I think more than anything, I've talked about his maturity, but his leadership skills. I mean, for a guy to be this young and, you know, they've given him the keys to the offense. I mean, this is his offense. He determines in those RPOs where the football goes. And he's made some really good decisions throughout the early parts of his career.
Third down, Buechele keeps. Will he slide? Yes! Buechele gets down. You would think the former baseball player would know how to do that, but he says he struggles with it.
He'd already had the first down. I was thinking get down before he did. He still took a hit right at the end of this. You know, that extra couple yards, I could do without.
Jay Jones with the contact. And Buechele wants the long ball. Brian Peavy breaking it up. Was looking for Dorian Leonard.
When you've got wide receivers with the length that Texas does on the outside, Bird at 6'3", Leonard at 6'4", we talked about Colin Johnson at 6'6". When you see a one-on-one matchup like that with guys my size, and in fact, Peavy is 5'9". He's about as tall as I was. And
you're 5'8".
Well, I'm trying to give myself that extra inch. Help me out. But, you know, those are the matchups you want to see.
Oh, Kyle Porter with the cutback. And Kane Seeley brings him down, but not before he breaks the 30-yard line.
Yeah, you don't want to see Chris Warren out. You wish you had your other big back available, but Kyle Porter should be able to benefit from these reps that he'll be getting and receiving while Warren is down.
13-yard gain from Porter on the previous play, 4 yards shy of his career long. He is a true freshman.
But you look at Williams, Patrick Vahe, those guys up front right now, they're controlling the line of scrimmage. Getting a good push.
And Willie Harvey, another stop for the Iowa State defense. Harvey has showed up to play for the Cyclones defensive group.
Young man right there having to come into the game, getting extensive playing time. No bad snaps. He has to make all the calls. Really played a good ball game.
And I believe the only time that Buechele has been touched in the pocket was when Kent Perkins was forced back a little bit and he touched his own right guard. No sacks allowed by this Texas offensive line. 18-wheeler. Swoops to the left side.
And Iowa State has done a good job tonight with this package, much like Oklahoma did last week in terms of stopping him. And you've heard all week, fans are buzzing about having an option off of here and being able to pass the football.
Yes.
Maybe that jump pass that we used to see Tim Tebow
And
run.
wide open on the right side was Ramonte Foreman. That one develops late. And Jaquan Bailey. And on that snap, there was nobody over Ramonte Foreman.
Well, number one, part of it is because they're running the football here to milk the clock. And
yeah.
You know, when you've got 9 guys in the box, literally, and only 2 guys covering outside, I understand why you make that call. The issue that I have right now with the 18-wheeler package is we keep hearing about this wrinkle. You've got to put it out on film at some point so the defenses have to defend that. Because right now, we've seen the last 2 weeks, they have stacked the box and stuffed the 18-wheeler package.
Foreman on the screen. Ooh. Slipping the tackle. Who is right? Ripping off defenders. He's going to be shy of the first down. But provided some entertaining moments along the way.
Stop and go action, huh?
Yeah.
Offense got it going, though, in the second half. actually, they wore down this defensive front for the Cyclones.
Trent Domain, a perfect 7 for 7 inside the 40-yard line. Graduate transfer from LSU.
Hey, baby.
And I did not jinx him. So Texas starting to milk that clock and think about the first Big 12 win. It's 27-6 with under 5 left to play.
You're watching the Longhorn Network. Hook 'em.
Hager, when Joel Lanning scrambled, had a wide open field, and right, Ahmad, able to make that shoestring stop. And you get the sense that this is more the style of play, the pace of play that Charlie Strong thought he was getting into, bringing his system here to the Big 12.
And I think Charlie's done a good job tonight. I know he was knocking off some of the dust last week as a play caller defensively, but this defense, and in my opinion, one of the things that I noticed prior to him taking over was Malik Jefferson wasn't being disguised enough. And today when you watch it, last week when you watch it, they've been able to move him around and force the offense to have to decide where he's at.
And I believe you're looking at least 4, maybe 5 true freshmen on the field right now for this Texas defense. Roach, Fowler, McCulloch, Brandon Jones on the back end as well, and DeAndre Christmas. So you've got 5 true freshmen in there right now for the Texas defense. They've held Mike Warren to 60 yards. Here comes the pressure, and off the fingertips of Mike Warren is Joel Lanning, Jacob Park. They have felt the heat from this Texas defense all night long.
This could be rough on the passer, though, at the end of it. Personal foul right at the end, trying to set up the screen. See if he gets...
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 41, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's 41, number...
Eric Fowler.
Yeah.
True freshman.
Right up the road here in Manor.
He's one of those stud freshmen signed by Charlie Strong in this top 10 recruiting class. David Montgomery checks in the backfield. Play action. Going over the middle. And somehow there's a window to Deshaunte Jones. And Ahmad, you love this freshman out of Cincinnati.
Oh boy, he's versatile. Gadget guy. He was a former high school quarterback, can throw the football. And last week was asked to do that twice, but pulled it down and made great decisions. He's really developing as a wide receiver.
And McCulloch got a paw up there. Enough to disrupt that. Once again intended to Deshaunte Jones.
Yeah, he was nearly 20 yards down the field. And that's what forced Lanning to have to get air under that throw. Typically, when you're dropping back in coverage and you're a hook to curl or a hash player, you're about 15 yards. That time a little bit deep, but it worked in his favor as Lanning launched it over his target.
Swing pass to Montgomery. McCulloch showing off the range to make the hit.
This is when you get an opportunity, though, as a young player to fly to the football.
Yep.
This is when you say, hey, I want to be out here and I want to play. If this is your opportunity, you got to go as hard as you can go.
A little pride as well, thinking about the fact the Cyclones have not scored an offensive touchdown in this game. As even when early on, Iowa State threatened, Texas was able to hold the red zone. And you look back on the grand scheme of things, those red zone stops really changed early on the complexion of how this game could have gone. If that's 7 instead of 3, as you guys mentioned early on, the complexion of this game is completely different. Saw that one coming as Devontae Davis was teeing up on David Montgomery.
But that's using your eyes. That's one of the things that Davis lost a little confidence. He's trying to get out there. That's a good job of using his eyes. He saw the play develop and was coming quickly. He recognized it, knew where the football was going.
Texas defense has limited the big plays after allowing 16 explosive plays against Oklahoma a week ago. There's a flag on the play. McCullough was able to bring down Lanning. We'll get this sorted out.
Usually this comes where it came. It's holding. I would think you would back him up here.
Yeah, Charlie Strong has already signaled
Holding,
for that.
number 71, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Lo, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast that this offensive line for the Cyclones, it's a senior-oriented offensive line, but it didn't have a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
When you added them all together, it was only about 30 starts for the 5 guys up front.
But you both believe big things are coming from Matt Campbell at this Iowa State program.
These guys, they played hard all night. That's one of the things we're seeing.
And they've played so well the past 3 games, even though they've let it slide away in the fourth quarter, that makes this win for Texas appear better than just beating on the surface a 1-5 team. Although at the end of the day, I'll tell you, as everybody else will, you are what your record says you are. Overthrown, looking for Alan Lazard. That's going to force a 3rd and 16. McCullough with the pressure.
Taking Alan Lazard out of this game has been huge. Yes, he's got some catches, but he hadn't been able to get vertical, and he hadn't been able to find the end zone. He had 4 touchdown passes coming into the ballgame.
Yeah.
3rd and 16. The Cyclones 1 for 5 on 3rd down in the second half. In and out. Daly cannot corral that one. So what's been different about this Texas defense? Besides the obvious, the production, what has gone into this performance?
Number one, I talked about failed fundamentals off the top of this show. They've been fundamentally sound. You haven't seen the blown coverages, the mental mistakes that turn into the opposing team's fight song playing.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The ball was touched at the line of scrimmage. 4th down.
And also, we've commented on a few times today. I mean, tackling has been an issue for this defense. Charlie Strong has said it. The players have admitted it. And tackling is about heart to me. You know, this boils down to it's me and it's you, and I will not let you get past me. And tonight, this Texas defense has done a much better job of keeping things in front of them, wrapping up, and dragging ball carriers down.
4th and 16. Hager flying in. Lanning running for his life. He's going to get the first down, and McCullough gets him from the neck and brings him down. But Lanning moves the chains. And you'll see the tackle here from the true freshman. Actually, he's getting the shoulder pads.
Wow, that was a clean tackle.
Yeah.
It was.
Very acrobatic tackle.
Shot to the end zone. Out of bounds, looking for Akeem Butler.
One more addition to the defense tonight. I thought the defensive backs used their eyes so much better. I think they were involved. They kept the receivers in front of them, but they also used their eyes to recognize what was going on. I think they've lost coverage because of their eyes.
And this was a Texas secondary allowing big plays. They entered allowing 11 touchdown passes of at least 20 yards. Only Bowling Green has allowed more this season, but they have shut down explosive plays from the Cyclones offense. Way out of the end zone for Joel Lanning.
This defense does not want to give up a touchdown. I can tell you that. They're still playing with that deal. So we want to play this game and not give up 6.
You're absolutely right, and I know that's been the theme from the coaches. As you get a third long situation, you know this is 4th down territory. They can make 2 more stops here. They may be able to accomplish that.
Iowa State has not scored in the 4th quarter in 2 straight games. And Marchie Murdoch gets close. Chris Nelson, one of the upperclassmen veterans, playing in the defense right now with a lot of fresh faces out there as they try to keep the Cyclones off the board. David Montgomery inside the 5. And of course, you see the 6 points on the board, but we're talking about trying to prevent an offensive touchdown here. Texas hasn't done that since 2014 against Kansas. And look at that, coming up with the stop. Pose, yeah, easy big fella. Chris Nelson, another stop.
He's been active tonight. You know, he's done a great job. I believe on the 4th down stop, he was the plug in the middle, which allowed him to have to bow out. But he's very athletic for his size. He does a nice job of doing lateral movement and chasing balls down.
Matt Campbell wants a timeout. The Cyclones 20 for 20 in the red zone this year, trying to stay perfect. So Texas 23 seconds away from adding their first conference W of the season. After that, road trip to K-State. Very tough stretch with Baylor on the road in Lubbock, and a West Virginia team that just absolutely spanked Texas Tech in a game in Lubbock this afternoon. In Kansas State, the dynamic of that game may have changed with Jesse Ertz, starting quarterback, going down in the game today against Oklahoma. Joe Huebner came in and was not able to lead the Wildcats back. 3rd and goal. Out of the back of the end zone. 16 seconds left. And what we're also looking at here is a breakthrough win in terms of the ability for a Texas team to come back. Going into this game, Texas 0-14, as you mentioned, when trailing going into the half.
Yeah,
they're trailing coming into the half in this game. They're going to get the W.
They did a nice job. I mean, the difference in the game is the defense held Iowa State to 2 field goals early in the game when they had a chance to separate. We're down at halftime and found a way in the second half to put it away.
This is about pride right here on 4th and goal. The Texas defense wins.
Eighth sack of the night as they find a way to get there. Lanning had nowhere to go with the football. By far the best defensive performance we've seen in a couple of years here on the 40 acres.
DeAndre Christmas, Chris Nelson, veterans, the youngsters getting into the mix to keep the Iowa State offense out of the end zone in this game. Again, 117 points scored over the previous 3 games for the Cyclones, their highest scoring stretch since 2005. And what a world of difference. After 3 straight games, allowing more than 500 yards, the Texas defense comes up with a gem tonight. 6 points, 8 sacks, victory formation. As Texas stands up for Charlie Strong, and the Texas defense stands tall. The 3-game losing streak, a thing of the past. As the Longhorns now on the board as they win their Big 12 home opener. Not a bad performance. It's been 35 days since we've seen the Longhorns here at DKR. And this is a game and a performance and a win sorely needed. Speaking about being sore, hate to be the Iowa State defense because of this man, Deontay Foreman, standing by with Tom Davenport.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Deontay, a slow start for this offense in the first half, but what was the difference in the second half?
Oh, we just came out to be more physical. We knew that we had to throw the ball out, air the ball out so we could be able to run the ball.
and I think we executed that better in the second half.
You were able to run the ball again, another 100-yard rushing game for you. Your 7th straight. What's been the key to that streak?
Just my O-line. Man, they've been wonderful to me. And we talk on the sideline the whole game, and I tell them what I see. They tell me what they see. And, you know, it's a team effort, you know, and I appreciate those guys for blocking for me like they do. And, you know, when I find a crease, I just hit it, and I try to be explosive.
You talk about the team effort on the other side of the ball. Your defense played a heck of a game. How important was that performance from them for you guys?
They played wonderful today. And, you know, we talked to those guys, man, and they came out here and showed us, you know, what type of defense they really are. They didn't play well in the last 3 games or so, but they came out here with a vengeance tonight, and they played really well, so I'm proud of those guys.
Deontay, congratulations.
Thank you.
7 straight 100-yard performances for Deontay Foreman, and a win sorely needed by Texas. The Eyes, followed by Texas Game Day Final.
Welcome into Texas Game Day Final. The Horns back at home and back in the win column with a 27-6 victory over Iowa State. Win number 1 on the season in the Big 12. And more importantly for Charlie Strong, he is off the schneid. Win number 1 when trailing at the half. Now 1-14 as the Horns come up with the victory, scoring 27 unanswered and a dominating defensive performance from that ball club tonight. 8 sacks, the most since 2013. Welcome in alongside Emmanuel Acho, Vince Young, Ricky Williams. I am Alex Loeb. Gentlemen, right after the game ended, we heard Deontay Foreman say the defense was wonderful. He was polite about it. They beat the daylights out of Iowa State. They were aggressive, dominant. Manny, we'll start with you. What did you make of that, D, after the players-only meeting this week?
Treat Iowa State like Iowa State. And that's what the heck we did. We came out here and we didn't do anything special. We were Texas, and they were Iowa State. And we proved it right there. We held them to under 275 yards, I believe. We usually give up 477 a game. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.